is the gentleman from California, Mr. Whitesides.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman and Mr. Secretary, thank you for your service to the country. I'm a new member of Congress from the north side of Los Angeles, and I'm proud to represent a region with both a large veteran community and a world-class aerospace production base. It was our area that broke the speed of sound for the first time, that assembled the space shuttles, and that now builds many of the most advanced aircraft that this nation depends on for its national security. I want to start by communicating my deep concern for the deployment of military troops to the streets of Los Angeles County. Over the past few days, I've received briefings from military leadership, including the Marine Corps and the National Guard, and one thing is eminently clear. So far, this operation has been poorly planned and poorly executed, and is not an example of the operational and logistical excellence that the Department of Defense is famous for. Our service members have been sleeping on the concrete floors of federal buildings and even outside on roads. No contract has been made to feed them or adequately house them. Northcom was not given adequate time or resources to prepare to absorb these Guard units. The lines of command are muddy at best. I've personally heard that Northcom is the lead agency, the DHS is the lead agency, that the FBI is the lead agency, or that your office, Mr. Secretary, is the lead agency. It's unclear whether the Marines who have been deployed have even completed their full training for this civilian-focused, non-lethal mission. The briefings that we have received to date indicate that only a fraction of the assigned forces are actually being utilized on a day-to-day basis. On top of this, yesterday we heard in your testimony, Mr. Secretary, that the Department may start sending troops to other cities and states. And early today, you refused to say whether you would follow the decision of the Supreme Court on the legality of the deployments of the National Guard and the Marines. We're on an extraordinarily dangerous path. The nation's founding fathers were rightfully deeply skeptical of domestic deployment of federal troops. That skepticism stretches all the way back to the Boston Massacre and is a skepticism based on blood. Going forward, I would urge you to avoid politics and to actually pay attention to what law enforcement officers are saying on the ground. Now, we've talked a lot today about leadership and accountability. I've been lucky to work for several inspiring leaders. When I was NASA Chief of Staff, my boss was Administrator Charlie Bolden, who you may know, served as a decorated Marine general, as well as a space shuttle commander. This was a Marine who flew more than 100 combat missions in North and South Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. He commanded the mission which deployed the Hubble Space Telescope, which at the time was the largest object ever deployed by the shuttle. He's a serious man and an American hero. I haven't been a member of the Armed Services Committee for very long, just over 5 months, but in that time I've had the privilege to meet and talk with the senior-most members of our military. I've met men and women who've served for decades in our armed services, who've served for years in combat zones. What have I learned from these American heroes? Leaders don't just speak, they listen. They are strong, but they show humility. They are curious, and they learn from all members of their team, even people that they disagree with. You and your team have made multiple serious errors, putting our pilots and troops at risk by disclosing operational details in unclassified communication channels, firing general officers with unique experience and leadership skills, hiring senior team members who seem to be unable to work together well and who seem unable to hold confidential information private. We need the Department of Defense to be run well so that our troops are led well and our nation is protected. In order for that to happen, Mr. Secretary, I suspect you will need to listen more and talk less. You will need to be more curious and capable of learning from different voices. I know that that is not the style of this administration, but you now have the lives of millions of service members and hundreds of millions of Americans depending on your capacity to learn and change. I sincerely hope you can do it, and I yield back my time.